The stamen, consisting of the anther and filament, is the pollen-producing part of the flower. The pistil, comprised of the stigma, style, and ovary, houses the ovules awaiting fertilization. Petals surround the reproductive structures, attracting pollinators with their vibrant colors and shapes. Sepals protect the developing flower bud before it blooms, often appearing as small, green leaf-like structures. Pollen, produced by the stamen, contains the male reproductive cells necessary for plant fertilization. The ovary within the pistil contains ovules, which are the female reproductive cells ready to be fertilized by pollen. Pollination occurs when pollen grains are transferred from the stamen to the stigma of a flower. These facilitate pollination by collecting nectar and inadvertently transferring pollen between flowers. The transfer of pollen to the stigma is essential for plant fertilization and the production of seeds and fruits. Upon landing on the stigma, a pollen grain germinates and initiates the growth of a pollen tube. The pollen tube elongates through the style, creating a pathway for sperm cells to access the ovary. This tube serves as a conduit, enabling sperm cells to reach the ovules for fertilization. The pollen tube extends to the ovary, delivering sperm cells to the ovule. One sperm cell fuses with the egg cell, resulting in fertilization and the creation of a zygote. Fertilization is the pivotal step in the sexual reproduction of flowering plants. Following fertilization, the ovule undergoes development to form a seed, which contains the embryo of the new plant. Concurrently, the ovary expands and matures into a fruit, providing protection for the developing seeds. The fruit serves as a protective structure for the seeds during their development. Wind dispersal involves seeds being carried away from the parent plant by air currents. Seed dispersal also occurs when animals consume fruits and excrete the seeds in new locations. Seed dispersal allows plants to colonize new areas and continue their life cycle. Various methods of seed dispersal ensure plant survival and expansion. The stamen, the male reproductive part of a flower, consists of the anther and filament. The anther is responsible for producing pollen, which contains the male genetic material. The pistil, the female reproductive part, comprises the stigma, style, and ovary. The ovary, located at the base of the pistil, houses the ovules awaiting fertilization. The stigma at the top of the pistil receives pollen, initiating the fertilization process. Pollination is the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma of a flower. Pollen can be transferred by wind, water, or animal pollinators. Bees and butterflies are common animal pollinators, facilitating pollen transfer between flowers. Successful pollination is essential for the fertilization process to begin in plants. Pollen grain lands on the stigma, initiating pollen tube growth. The pollen tube elongates, penetrating the style towards the ovary. The pollen tube delivers sperm cells to the ovules within the ovary. Pollen tube growth ensures successful fertilization in plants. Sperm cell fuses with the egg cell inside the ovule. The fusion of sperm and egg creates a zygote. The zygote marks the beginning of a new plant embryo. This fertilization process is vital for seed formation. The fertilized ovule undergoes cell division and differentiation. Cell division and differentiation lead to the formation of the embryo within the seed. The seed contains all the necessary components for a new plant to grow. The ovary, which surrounds the ovules, expands and matures into a fruit. The fruit provides protection for the developing seeds. Fruits aid in the dispersal of seeds. Wind dispersal involves seeds with lightweight structures or wings being carried by the wind. Wind dispersal enables plants to colonize new and distant areas. Lightweight structures and wings increase a seed's surface area, enhancing its ability to be carried by wind. Animals consume fruits, obtaining nutrients and energy from the pulp. Seeds from the consumed fruits are dispersed through animal droppings in different locations. This symbiotic relationship benefits both the plant through seed dispersal and the animal through nutrition. Seed dispersal by animals helps plants colonize new areas and avoid competition with parent plants. Seeds that float are dispersed by water currents to new locations. Water dispersal is a common seed dispersal method for plants near bodies of water. The buoyancy of seeds allows them to be transported over considerable distances by water. The life cycle of a flowering plant begins with seed germination. The plant grows, develops leaves, and eventually produces flowers. Pollination occurs when pollen is transferred from the stamen to the pistil. Fertilization follows pollination, leading to the development of seeds within the ovary. The ovary matures into a fruit, which contains the seeds, completing the life cycle. The cycle restarts when the seeds are dispersed and germinate.